given a path. Others must carve their own. Never handed peace of mind. Everything I've ever earned was won one battle at a time. The road was cold and unforgiving. The nights were long and black, but every obstacle before me only fueled the next attack. I learned to trust the struggle. I learned to trust the pain, because the fire that tried to break me only made me rise again. The pressure kept building, the storm kept growing, but I kept moving. Built by the struggle, forged by the fight. Every scar became a symbol, every dark day brought light. Built by the struggle, now the fire burns inside. I survived the worst chapters and came out alive. Came out alive. I've walked through disappointment, I've carried unseen scars, I've spent nights questioning everything beneath forgotten stars. But warriors aren't remembered for the comfort that they knew. They're remembered for standing tall when the world expected them to lose. Now the mountain doesn't scare me, now the storm doesn't feel the same, because I've already conquered battles most people can't explain. No fear remains, no chains survive, only the will to stay alive. Hit me harder, make me stronger, push me further, I'm still here. Hit me harder, make me stronger, push me further, I'm still here. Still fighting. Built by the struggle, and I wear the scars with pride. Every wound became a chapter in the story of my life. Now the whole world hears my name, because the pressure that once crushed me turned me into a flame. The struggle didn't destroy me, it built me. It built me. When the world turned away, I kept walking. is left behind me. Every bridge reduced to ash taught me how to keep moving forward instead of living in the past. The road got darker, the wind grew cold, but my spirit never sold. When the world turned away, I found strength on my own. Every battle made me stronger. Every scar became a stone. When the world turned away, I learned how to survive, because the strongest fires burn when no one keeps them alive. I stopped searching for approval, stopped chasing empty praise, because the men who changed their lives are forged in lonely days. The darkness became familiar, the silence became a friend, and every time I thought I'd break, I learned how not to bend. Now I carry every lesson like armor on my chest, because everything that tried to stop me forced me to become my best. The pressure kept rising, the storm kept calling, but I refused to fall. When the world turned away, I became my own light. Every failure became fuel, every wrong became a right. When the world turned away, I discovered who I am. Not a man waiting for rescue, but a man who chose to stand. No help, no mercy, no easy way. Just willpower, just fire, just one more day, and I'm still here. Some men quit when they're abandoned. Others discover their true strength, because when nobody is left beside you, you finally learn what's inside you. When the world turned away, I found the warrior within. Every scar became a trophy for the battles that I've been in. When the world turned away, I refused to disappear, and now the voice they never heard is the one they finally fear. When the world turned away, I found myself. They thought the fire was gone. They were wrong. vanished, buried underneath the weight of broken dreams and empty promises, and everything I couldn't change. I watched the years keep moving while I fought invisible wars, trying to hold together pieces of the man I was before. The nights grew cold around me, the silence filled the air, but deep beneath the wreckage, something was still there. A spark that never surrendered, a flame that wouldn't die, waiting for the right moment to rise into the sky. The pressure kept building, the darkness closed in, but the fire never left. It lived within. The fire never left. It was burning all along, hidden underneath the scars, growing powerful and strong. The fire never left. Now the whole world can see the man they thought was finished, becoming who he's meant to be. I've walked through disappointment, I've carried too much pain, I've lost things I can never get back, and danced with the rain. But every storm that found me failed to take my soul, because every hit life landed only strengthened my control. Now I don't fear tomorrow, and I don't fear the night, because I've already survived the hardest fights of my life. The thunder keeps rolling, the mountains still stand, but so do I. The fire never left. Now it burns brighter than before. Every battle fed the flame, every wound became the roar. The fire never left. Now there's lightning in my veins, everything that tried to break me only added to the flame. Burn, burn. Not dead, not dead, not beaten, not beaten, not finished, not finished, not finished. Sometimes strength doesn't look like victory. Sometimes strength is simply refusing to quit when every reason says surrender. And you keep going anyway. The fire never left, and it never will again. I become the storm itself after walking through the rain. The fire never left. Now the darkness knows my name, because the spark they tried to bury became an unstoppable flame. The fire never left. It was waiting for its moment. I refuse to die, not when the darkness called my name, not when the world gave up on me, not when there was still fire in my veins. me. The fear tried to control me, but every time I hit the ground I found another reason to rise. I refuse to die. When the darkness filled the sky, when the pain became a prison and the tears completely dry, I refuse to die. I kept the fire alive. Now the scars upon my body are the proof that I survived. I refuse to die. I learned that strength is lonely and survival has a cost. Sometimes you have to lose yourself before you know you're lost. I walked through halls of silence where hope had long disappeared, but every step into the darkness made my purpose crystal clear. The world was trying to break me like a wave against a stone, but storms don't destroy mountains, they teach them how to stand alone. Now the pain has a new meaning, now the wounds have a new name. They aren't symbols of my weakness, they're medals from the flame. Now the shadows can't contain me, now the fear no longer stays. Every chapter of my suffering built the warrior I became. I refuse to die, though the odds were stacked high. Every battle left me bleeding, but I never stopped the fight. I refuse to die, now the storm lives in my eyes. I became the thing that rises every single time it dies. Knock me down. Knock me down. Get up. Break my heart. I'll rebuild it. My heart. I'll create more. Burn my world. I'll walk through the fire. You can hurt me, but you can't end me. Maybe that's what survival is. Not being fearless, not being invincible, not never falling, but choosing to stand up one more time. Then life knocks you down. I refuse to die, and that's why I'm still here tonight. Every wound became a story, every story became light. I refuse to die. When I had no strength to fight, I found courage in the darkness and turned despair into might. I refuse to die. I refuse to die. I refuse to die. The darkness waited for me to surrender. It waited and waited, but I never did. They never saw me coming. Not when I was broken. Not when I was bleeding. Not when I was building myself in the shadows. Stop trying to belong, because lions don't ask permission to become powerful and strong. The road was cold and lonely, the nights were hard to survive, but pressure creates diamonds and pain keeps dreams alive. Every failure was a teacher, every scar became a map, showing me exactly where the stronger version was at. Now the mirror shows a fighter, someone forged through sacrifice, someone who embraced the struggle and turned suffering into life. Now the shadows move behind me, now the fear has disappeared. Everything that tried to stop me built the man standing here. They never saw me coming, now I'm impossible to hide. I walked to hell completely broken and came back fortified. They never saw me coming, now the fire's in my eyes. Every door that once was closed became another reason why. While they were doubting, I was building. While they were talking, I was working. While they were laughing, I was evolving. Now look who's standing. The truth is, the strongest people are often ignored at first, because greatness grows quietly in the dark, far away from applause, far away from attention, until one day it can no longer be ignored. They never saw me coming, now the whole world knows the sound of a man who turned his pain into power and refused to stay down. They never saw me coming, now the fire lights the sky. I became the storm they laughed at, and the reason they ask why. They never saw me coming, they never saw me coming, they never saw me coming. The funny thing about shadows is that nobody notices them until they become a star. They tried to bury me, but they forgot I was a seed. Every door slammed in my face, every promise left abandoned, every dream they tried to erase. I was drowning in the silence, carry mountains on my back, watching everybody leave me as my world faded to black. There were moments I felt hopeless, moments I wanted to disappear, but pain has a strange way of teaching what comfort will never make clear. The deeper waiting for a sign, because nobody was coming to save this life of mine. The pressure became relentless, like waves against a stone, but every hit just proved how strong I'd become alone. I made peace with the darkness, I learned its every face, and somewhere in the chaos I found my place. Now the storms don't scare me, now the pain doesn't control me. I've already survived the worst, the rest can never own me. Now the fire burns brighter, now the fear is long gone. Everything that tried to break me built the man marching on. They tried to bury me, but they couldn't stop the rise. I was forced beneath the pressure, now there's thunder in my eyes. They tried to bury me, now the whole world hears the sound of a soul that kept on growing even underneath the ground. Bury me. Hate me. Kill me. Break me. You still can't stop me. The deeper you push me, the higher I grow. The strongest trees don't grow in perfect weather. They grow through storms, through lightning, through impossible seasons. And somehow they keep reaching for the sky. They keep reaching for the sky. They tried to bury me, but now my roots are made of steel. Every battle left a mark, but every mark helped me heal. They tried to bury me, and now I'm stronger than before, because the darkness wasn't my grave, it was the soil I was growing for. They tried to bury me, they thought they were digging my grave. They were planting my future. I came back from the void, from the place where hope goes to die, from the silence, from the abyss. There was a place beyond the darkness, where even memories disappeared. A wasteland built from broken promises and all the things I feared. I wandered through that empty kingdom, with nothing left inside my hands. No direction, no tomorrow, only ruins in the sand. The weight of every failure hung around my neck like chains. Every step became a question, every breath became a pain. I looked into the endless blackness, and it stared right back at me, waiting for me to surrender, waiting for me to bleed. But the void made one mistake. It thought I came there to die. I came there to transform. I came back from the void, with fire burning in my soul. I walked through the end of everything, learn its language. Some people learn its secrets. Then when they return, they're never the same again. The same I came back from the void like thunder breaking through the night. I found strength where hope had vanished. I found purpose in the fight. I came back from the void. Now I stand where I once fell. I walked through my own personal hell and came back. Impossible to kill. I came back from the void. The abyss wanted a victim. Instead, it created a warrior. The fire. Where fire refused to die. Even when the world turned cold. Even when the darkness won, there was still something burning inside me. Staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night, wondering if the person I was would ever see the light. Every dream fell out of reach. Every step became a war. And every time I thought I'd made it, life knocked me to the floor. The weight of all my failures was carved into my skin. Like 1,000 silent battles nobody knew I'd been in. I was shadows, losing pieces of myself, trying to carry all the pressure without asking for help. But deep beneath the wreckage, underneath the pain and doubt, there was a spark still breathing, refusing to burn strength isn't never breaking. Maybe strength is carrying the pieces through every storm, through every scar, through every impossible night, and still choosing to move forward. Exactly what they made. Of promises that never stayed, watching people draw the lines then disappear when skies turn gray. Every scar began as heartbreak, every wound began as trust. Every dream I held too tightly eventually turned to dust. I kept searching for the answer somewhere beyond the endless night, but the darkness only laughed at me and vanished from my sight. So I stopped looking for a rescue, waiting for the sun, and started building strength inside me, one battle at a time. Every fall became a lesson, every lesson left a mark, and every mark became a fire burning deep inside the dark. I am what we created, every scar became my skin, every battle I survived made me stronger from within. I am what we created, I was forged inside the flame. Now the darkness that once owned me can't even say my name. I am what pain created. The pressure tried to crush me like a mountain on my chest, but pressure builds the strongest steel when it survives the test. I met every fear head on, every demon face to face, and every time they thought I'd fall, I found another gear to chase. The nights became my training ground, the silence became my guide. I learned more from my suffering than from every peaceful time. Now the mirror shows a warrior, not the person from before, because pain doesn't just wound you, sometimes it builds something more.
Now the thunder sounds familiar, now the fire feels like home.
sacrifice, the confidence, but not the collapse, the victory, but not the years spent surviving. They can't break what survived hell. They can't destroy what refused to die. They can't stop what's already walked through the fire. A time I fear the darkness, a time I fear the fall, a time I thought the weight of life would finally end it all. I carried stones behind my eyes and silence in my chest. Every day became another fight with demons I possessed. The world kept throwing punches when I was already on my knees. But suffering has a way of growing into something hard to defeat. Every scar became a landmark, every wound became a road, leading me through places most people would never go. The deeper I was dragged down, the stronger I became. Because pressure doesn't destroy steel, it gives steel its name. They can't break what survived hell. I've already seen the worst. I've already felt the darkness trying to drag me into the dirt. They can't break what survived hell. Now there's fire in my veins. Every battle left a scar, but every scar became my strength. Because life gave them no alternative. Because survival became their purpose. Because quitting was never an option. They can't break what survived hell. Now the storm lives in my soul. Every scar became a chapter in the story of my growth. They can't break what survived hell. Now the whole world hears my roar. I came back from devastation, stronger than ever before. They can't break what survived hell. The fire tested me. The darkness shaped me. Hell forged me. And now nothing can break me. I stopped waiting to be saved because nobody was coming. And maybe that was the greatest gift of all. I stood at the shoreline, watching ships that never came, calling out into the silence, hoping someone knew my name. I carried worlds upon my shoulders while pretending I was fine, smiling through 1,000 battles fought inside this heart of mine. Every promise so temporary, every victory turned to dust. I learned that even good intentions can collapse beneath mistrust. And somewhere in the disappointment, something shifted deep inside. The moment I stopped looking outward was the moment I survived. No angels in the distance, no heroes in the rain, only a voice inside me saying, stand up again. I stopped waiting to be saved, and the chains began to break. The day I took responsibility was the day my soul awoke. I stopped waiting to be saved. Now the fire lights my way. Every scar became a compass. Every wound became my strength. The darkness wasn't my enemy. It was the place I learned to grow. The nights weren't there to destroy me. They were teaching me to cope. Every heartbreak built endurance. Every failure built resolve. Every problem that seemed endless forced me to evolve. I found courage in the wreckage. I found purpose in the pain. I found power in the struggle and sunlight in the rain. Now I walk through every battle with my head held to the sky. Because I know what I survived, and I know the reason why. The fear that once controlled me is a memory at best. Because the strongest parts of me were born beneath the stress. I stopped waiting to be saved and became my own escape. I turned every broken chapter into fuel I couldn't waste. I stopped waiting to be saved. Now there's thunder in my veins. Every obstacle before me only feeds the growing flame. No hero Maybe the rescue never existed. Maybe the strength we spend our lives searching for has been inside us the entire time. Searching for